Good morning. So my name is Vanessa Wallace. I am an emotional wellbeing coach and emotional balance coach. I'm a cognitive behaviour therapist and I run retreats, I run one-to-one sessions, and I work with people through group therapy, through retreats, through our one-to-one sessions to support them to have a happier, more stable and contented life, to feel more balanced and emotionally in control. And on this video, I'm going to talk to you today about journaling and how important that can be in terms of balancing our mood, balancing our mental health and improving our mental health. So why is journaling so good? So I'm going to tell you the reasons for it being so good. Then I'm also going to look at different ways that you can journal, because it depends on what you're needing to do, what you're wanting to work on, what you feel is important for you in your life. Then I'm going to share a little bit about my experience of journaling and then give you a few tips on how to start and get going with it. Morning Terry, good to see you here. I know that you're an absolute expert on this journaling, so this will resonate with you. And I've been inspired by people that I work with and their different ways of journaling as well. So I will be bringing some of that into this, because as I go on this journey of working with people, I learn all different types of things about how other people do it, because it's not only just based on my experience. So why is journaling so good? First of all, it helps you to be mindful. Now, you might think, well, what has journaling got to do with meditation and mindfulness? Well, it's got everything to do with meditation and mindfulness, because it helps you to just be aware of your thoughts and your emotions, to be in the moment with them, to recognize them. And it's so important that we do this, because we get on with our day and all this stuff is going on in the background and we don't realize that it's actually impacting us or how it's affecting us. So journaling, writing down your thoughts and feelings, helps you to recognize what's going on with yourself in the moment. I mean, wouldn't you like that, to actually know what is happening within you? Because we are part of ourselves. Our body and our minds are working and operating. A lot of that stuff, it does really automatically. But being mindful and aware by writing it down supports you to connect with that. So you're connecting with yourself, something that's really important in terms of positive mental health. So it helps the self-awareness. It helps to improve your understanding of yourself, of what's going on, how you tick, how you work on a daily basis, what goes on with you. So having that self-awareness is great, it really is. And believe me, I've been on a huge journey of self-awareness over the last 20 years. And it's a little bit painful at times, but it's also revealing. I always say, if we don't know what the problem is, we can't fix it. Like plumbing, you know, you've got to find out where the leak is. And if you're leaking emotions and thoughts and you don't know what they are or where they're coming from, then, you know, you're just going to be all over the place. Hi Sarah, good to see you here. So this morning we're talking about journaling and writing diaries and the importance of them and why they're so useful. So we're on point number 2, which is self-awareness, understanding what's going on with yourself. If you're writing it down, you're reflecting on it, you're noticing what's going on for yourself. Now, the other thing it can do, and this is a little bit deep, it can tap into your subconscious. So especially if you spend a few minutes writing, say in the morning or, you know, at some point during the day, and actually spend some time doing that, you will start to become aware of what's going on in your subconscious. Now, that is a deeper level of self-awareness, something that is really going to help you to move forward, because all that stuff, as I said before, that's going on in the background, that's impacting us in the background, is actually possibly going to be affecting our mood. We're not dealing with it. We're not finding techniques to manage it, because it's just there. And you know what? Sometimes it can just pop up and bite us. So maybe it might be a time when we're under stress or feeling quite vulnerable. Hi Julia. Then these thoughts that are in our subconscious will pop up and get us. So it's very good, journaling is very good for addressing that background noise, that subconscious, because we have two parts going on. We have the conscious and the subconscious. And the subconscious is a lot of stuff based on our memories, our thoughts, our feelings from previous years that have impacted us over the years. And everything has an effect. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed with this, but it is, you know, just a way that you can start a day at a time to bring your self-awareness up to the forefront. Okay, point number 4, it calms your mind. Writing, just putting things down on paper helps to calm the mind. And it kind of links into what I call the brain dump. Therefore, you are just getting rid of stuff. You're just putting stuff down on paper. It's almost as if it's a good substitute for maybe talking to a good friend about how you're feeling. Have you ever experienced that? Where you go and meet a friend, you meet over coffee or you meet over lunch, and you come away and you feel so much freer. Somebody that you can be vulnerable with, someone that you can really share with. So the diary, the journal will have the similar impact, in that you're actually dumping all those thoughts and feelings. You're putting them down somewhere, you're giving them to somebody else, which essentially is the journal or the diary. So thought diaries, thought journals help you to rationalise your thoughts, help you to just put them in order, or to think about some of the impact or some of the thoughts behind your thoughts. So some of the things that we can do quite a lot is catastrophize, have black and white thinking, overthink things, become very self-critical. All those kind of thoughts are not going to be good for us. They're going to bring on a stress reaction. So when we write things down in a diary, we can look at them on the paper and actually go, well, is that really true? Is that really helpful, me thinking in that way? So we can start to rationalise our thoughts and think about them in a different way. Let me know if any of this is resonating with you, if you've started doing a journal yourself, what particular type you're using and how that's helping you. Okay, it helps you achieve your goals and be organised. So some of the clients that I've worked with have put together diaries which involve lots of different components. So it might be doing one self-care activity per day. It might be doing your gratitude list every day. So writing 3 things down that you're grateful for. It might be just noting what you've got to do. So putting a structure to your day, allocating time. A lot of us like to write lists, and I always encourage people to make lists absolutely realistic. If we have lists that are unrealistic, there's a potential there to go back into self-criticism, because you look at your list, you've got huge amounts of things on there for the day and you only tick 3 or 4 of them. Whereas if you're realistic, I would say that we only should have 3 activities during the day that we're going to do, 3 things that we can achieve. And if you've achieved those 3 things at the end of the day, then you're on a winner, and you can celebrate that at the end of the day. Okay, so journaling helps you to resolve your emotional difficulties. It helps you to sort through emotional difficulties, and there's a particular type of diary, there's 2 particular types of diaries or journals that you can use to do that. I'm going to talk about those in a bit, but using the specific objective of working on a particular emotion can really support you to understand it, to realise what's going on, to be able to rationalise it, to get rid of it, to bring your calmness down. But no, that's not right English. To bring calm into your life, so to actually calm you down, because emotions can be very powerful. And as those of you who were on the workshop yesterday will know, we talked all about the amygdala and the emotional brain and how that is so powerful. So in this situation, we're using our thinking brain to look at what our emotions are. And finally, I've already mentioned it, is the gratitude diary. Now these are just awesome. I would encourage anybody to do a gratitude diary. In fact, it is the first thing that I encourage people to do when I start working with them. Just writing down 3 positive things that you experience every day, or you're feeling every morning. And just the reason for that being so important is because we actually need 3 positive thoughts to counteract a negative thought. And we attract negative thoughts like Velcro. They just stick to us. There's a big reason behind that in terms of psychology, because we need to scan for negativity. It's our brain trying to protect us. Positivity you actually have to work for. So therefore, it's really important to write down your positive thoughts because you reinforce them. Hi Carol, good to see you. So writing them down every day will start to rewire your brain to feel more positive, for you to feel more positive. So even if that's the only thing you do in your journal every day and is a starting point, that will help you to feel better. Believe me, I am a living evidence of that, and I still do it today. If I'm feeling a little bit down, I write down my gratitude, and you can almost feel the shift in your mood, because as I say, we stick all this negative stuff to us, which is our brain trying to help us. However, we need to really work on the positivity. It's like building a new path through a very, very tangled woodland. So you have to get your hacksaw and you have to get your scythe and you have to break down all those nettles and those weeds and build that new path. And that new path is positivity. Once you build that, your brain will start to naturally access more positive thoughts. So you will start to feel more positive on a daily basis. Okay, any questions? Please feel free to put them into the comments, and love the fact that there's got quite a few of you here listening, you know, tapping into this morning. Love to hear about your journals, if you've done any journaling. If you haven't, you know, maybe you might be picking up something from this that you could get started on. Okay, so we've got Terry here. She said, I've made sections for tracking and also added personal entries. I also work on the aspects of myself. I have gratitude part 2. It's a great help, especially if things get tough. I just write. I do spidergrams. Oh my goodness, that's amazing, Terry. So that, you know, there's all kinds of components in there, in the writing, and it sounds like that really is supporting you and helping you. So fantastic. Thank you for writing that in. Okay, so on to the second part of what I'm going to talk about. So what types of diaries or journals can you use? Now, I just had a little quick look on Amazon, and I saw that there's loads of different types of books you can get, and I always feel it's important to get something that you're attracted to, something that feels nice. And I know that might sound a little bit woo-woo. It's like, well, why can't I just write it in an ordinary notebook? Fine, if that suits you, then do that. But sometimes getting a journal that's pretty, that resonates with you, that looks nice, that you feel attracted to, can support you. It becomes your little treasure. It becomes your space. So you're nurturing your space. And maybe you might want to do a little ritual as well around your journaling. So light a candle, burn some oils, you know, whatever's really going to help you to just settle and be in that space. And that will help you to tap into your subconscious as well. So what types of diaries are there? I've said a little bit about this already, but I'm just going to go over the different types which I didn't mention. So we've got the thought reflections. I mentioned that. We've got the gratitude diaries. Now moving on to the emotional diaries. You can write diaries, you can write forgiveness diaries. Now you might say to me, okay, what does that mean? So basically what that is just writing down what you forgive yourself for and what you forgive other people for. And literally, it's almost like writing lines when we were at school. So it's a way of getting this out. So it's I forgive myself. And this is great for the inner critic. I forgive myself for da, da, da. I mean, example for me might be, I forgive myself for completely flunking my first degree at university because I spent most of the time in the bar having a good old drink. So I forgive myself for that because it did impact me in my life. It affected my further decisions and my further abilities to progress. So I forgive myself for that. I forgive myself for not being able to speak up in situations. I forgive myself. So think about things that you'd like to forgive yourself for from the past and just write it down in lines. And you only have to do a little bit a day, but as you continue to write that, more things will come to the surface that you know that you need to forgive yourself for. So it's a great way to access that subconscious guilt, shame, self-critic that we carry around with us. So I would really recommend that. I've done that myself. The other one is an anger diary. Now you might say, okay, well, why would I want to write down all the things that I'm angry with? But it's the same thing. It's about getting rid of that emotion, dumping it, getting it down. I was asked to do this when I was in treatment, and I was a very, very angry young lady, but I didn't realise it. I had this outside facade of being all controlled, being all loving, caring, but I was seething with anger, and I don't really know why, but there was a lot of things that I was angry about, and we can dismiss anger. I think especially as women, it's very easy to dismiss our anger. It's almost like an attractive emotion to have, but anger is so healthy. It tells us that something is wrong. It tells us that something is not right. So my suggestion is, if you're feeling that there might be anger, if you find yourself snapping for no reason at all, there's underlying anger there. So just write down the little things throughout the day that anger you. Say for instance, I went out and somebody left the gate open, so the dogs got out. Or, you know, I went in to tidy the bedroom and the bed had been made a mess again. Or I went into the kitchen to do the washing up and somebody had left loads of dishes. Or I went into a shop and a person wasn't social distancing. All those little things that anger you, write them down. And it's a way of dumping that, but it's also a way of becoming mindfully aware of your anger. Because that's so important that we're mindful. We shove down emotions that we have. We push them away, and then, as I said, they surface and they come up and they hit us in the face. And we suddenly become completely irrational. And then when you do that, you're left with all that guilt and shame. Oh, I shouldn't have blown up like that. But it was probably not about that situation. It probably was not about when you stubbed your toe. It was probably about all those things that you were angry about that have built up over the last week or so. So anger diaries are really, really great. Terry's already mentioned the bullet journal. I don't call them bullet journals, I call them daily logs, but you can put all different types of things, as Terry's already said, into them. So your mood, your activities, you can put photos. I'm stealing a bit of your information here, Terry, but you know, I just love that idea. It's like a photo album, or what do we used to call them when we were younger, where you used to put all different stuff into a book. And I used to have one. I used to stick letters, I used to stick pictures, and then write little bits about what I've been doing. So you know, you can incorporate that as well and make it yours. It's something that's yours. It's it's special for you. It's your inner world. Now, another thing that I want to, a scrapbook, that's the one, scrapbook, yes, love it. Yeah, I used to have a scrapbook when I was younger. Scrapbooks are great, you know, you just put all your stuff in there, and it's spending time with you. It's giving yourself that special time. It's acknowledging your inner world. It's acknowledging who you are as a person. And I think as children, we're a lot more able to tap into that, and we kind of lose that as we're adults. As we become adults, we become more focused on our external worlds and achieving our goals. And yeah, that is one of the benefits of doing these journals, is it helps you to achieve your goals. Because when we write stuff down, we're a lot more likely to achieve it. So if you have dreams, if you have visions, and now we're going into you know, vision boards, which is something that I do with a lot of my clients and on retreats as well. You know, putting pictures down of things that you want in your life, things that you want to achieve. There's a real subconscious impact that goes on with that, and you're able to remember those things because they're on your vision board. You picture them, or you've written them down as goals. I use goals quite a lot these days. I have a particular diary which I use, I write down everything that I want to achieve in the month, and it's actually only 3 or 4 things. But at the end of the month, when I can tick them off and go, yes, I did achieve those, it feels really good, and you feel like you're progressing. Okay, finally, for you lovely people who are watching these videos, let me just tap into Sarah's comment before I move on. I have an album of photos and memes, good and bad, on my phone that have particular relevance, especially on my current journey. It helps to look back on those. Fantastic, Sarah, love it. Yeah, sounds really, really good, and sounds very special to you as well, very personal. You know, it's giving you yourself that self-care. It's also having a relationship with yourself, because I think so often we lose that relationship with ourselves when we get lost in problems, difficulties, addictions, life. Maybe things happen to us which actually are out of our control, you know, bereavements, changes in circumstances, and we can lose ourselves in that. So that sounds really fantastic, Sarah. It's a way of reconnecting with yourself. We absolutely love it. Okay, finally, I just want to talk about the aspect of reading affirmations or daily reflections on a daily basis. There's a lot of books out there. I had a little look on Amazon, but I think I searched for the wrong thing. And I'll try and find a link and put it underneath this video. But there's books where they have daily quotes in there. So daily reflections, things that you can focus in on every day. I've used them for many years myself, but it's been very much around addiction recovery. But I know that they are out there. My daughter has one for, which is it's called the Self-Love journal or something, and it's just quotes and reflections, and it gets you thinking about how you're approaching your day, and it gives you a focus for the day. So reading it in the morning is really, really helpful. So there's plenty of those out there. They're great to give to people for presents, Christmas presents, birthday presents, and just to give that suggestion to other people as well, that, you know, about this self-awareness, about reflecting on your mood on a daily basis. But yeah, go and purchase one for yourself and just give it a go. Quite often they're allocated out by day, so you go through it through the year, and then you can go back and start again. And it's amazing how you go through it through the year, and then you go back to the beginning, and you forget, or you see a different perspective on the ones again when you start again in January. Okay, so a few tips how to get started. I mean, everybody who's watching at the moment, you know, you sound like you're really doing this already, but maybe there's something else that you've picked up from this that you're going to start doing. Anyone who's watching on replay, or if you're watching this video elsewhere, these are the steps that you can take to get started with this. So first of all, just make a decision that you're going to start. That is the most important step. So, right, I'm going to start journaling, and decide what type of journaling you're going to do. Now, don't give yourself too big a task. So, you know, as we've heard, some of the live, some of the suggestions have been to put lots and lots of stuff into one book. That's great, but I would suggest that once you get into the swing of it a little bit more. So just pick one thing, whether it's going to be gratitude, anger, forgiveness, just dumping your feelings, reflecting on your thoughts, whatever it is, just pick that one thing. And then spend some time finding yourself a book. And also find a space in your home where you can do your journaling, and make sure that you have that time. So even if it's 5-10 minutes, know that it's a space where you're not going to be disturbed. And if you've got children around, or other people around, or, you know, animals, just make sure that they're settled and that they are going to give you that space. I know that's really difficult if you've got young children. I mean, I used to shut myself in the bathroom when I had young children, so that I could do some personal reflection. So whatever works for you. You can change your mind what type you do, so you could start with one particular type and then things might evolve for you and you do a different type of journal, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, or even a few days later. Really depends on what you need. So there's a few tips to get started. I hope you've got some value from this video. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and remember, that awareness is everything. So just becoming self-aware, being mindful of your thoughts and feelings, understanding who you are, understanding how you tick, will give you the tools to move forward with your mental health. It is absolute gold dust. I never knew this before. I thought we just lived life and we just continued in life. I didn't realise that underneath work needed to be done. The revelations were sometimes a bit painful, but also really, really freeing. So start this journey today. Start putting down your thoughts and feelings, and get a journal and give it a go. See how you feel about it. If you need any help, you can always email me, Vanessa@crystalclearcoaching.org. Take care. Have a great day. See you soon.